not have been him that said it. It may have been who works for him.
Right. Well, I'm going to let him know. So, whoever works for him.
Okay, I mean, I don't know where everybody is, but we're here.
We are.
Odd.
Yeah, it is.
Why don't you not film and we can do some really weird stuff?
We can do that anyway.
Okay.
Oh,
Like,
yeah. I'll just be over here.
Let's start on our backs, though.
okay.
Doesn't that sound good?
Yeah.
Oh. So just let yourself ease your way into feeling comfortable on the floor. Your knees can be bent, or you can let your legs lengthen long if that feels good in your back. And just be with your breath. Let's draw our right knee in towards our chest. Let your left foot just be on the floor easily so that you can hold behind your right thigh and send your right foot up. Just enough so you can kind of see it there and start to circle your foot and move through your ankle. Your knee can be as bent as you want. It can be straighter if you want. Reverse direction when you get tired of going that one way. Just keep circling one way and then the other. And then finish off. And let's bring our left foot to the floor and cross our right ankle above our left knee so that we come into that figure four. And if you can draw your left knee in and clasp behind your left thigh, do. Flex through both feet. Let yourself enjoy opening up now. A little more into your hips. One more breath. And then we'll put that left foot on back down, uncross, and let's bring our left knee in towards our chest and extend that leg up longer so that you can see the foot up there, and again circling here, letting yourself just release. Reversing when you're ready. Good, and then finish off so that we can cross that left ankle above our right knee and draw that knee in towards the chest, clasping there behind your thigh, flexing through both feet. Good, and then we'll lower the right foot down and uncross our legs and stretch your arms overhead here now. Let yourself really start to extend one leg down long at a time so eventually you're fully stretched out. I mean, you can hold your right hands up there overhead if you want to. You can clasp them, send the palms away from the top of the head there if you want. Maybe even a big yawn, letting the back come off the floor as much as you need. Release, bring the feet on back to the floor here now. Arms down now, out beside you from your shoulders, and let your knees come from side to side. So just take your time. Let the knees just barely come over or down more towards the floor if that feels good to you. Good. And then finish off with the knees back up into center. And now we're going to roll onto our left side and bring our right hand to come right on top of our left hand that's straight out from our shoulders. So you're on your side. Your hands are like right there, kind of like in prayer hands right in front of you. And you're just letting your head release. Knees are bent and soft. And now we're going to come into a twist by letting our right hand kind of come out onto the floor and then circle overhead. And then reach it all the way out there onto your right side out from your shoulder and turn your head to look to the right as well. And just stay here in this twist. Let yourself just breathe. If your right shoulder doesn't want to go all the way down, it's fine. Just let it feel good. One more breath. And then we'll bring our knees back and our head back up to look up to the ceiling here. Adjust your spine a little bit if you feel a little wonked, a little crooked there. And we'll roll to our right side this time and letting the left arm come on up over and bringing the left hand on top of the right. And again, just let it be easy. Let your head release. And then that left arm is going to circle, so you can just let the arm come up overhead and on out beside you onto the floor out from your shoulder as you look to your left. And just enjoy coming into this easy twist here. Good, and one more breath. And now as you start to rise your knees up and your head comes forward, go ahead and again straighten your spine out a little bit here. And now let your right foot come really close to your buttocks and extend your left leg long on the floor. And then kind of bend sideways to let your right hand reach down and get your right ankle. All right, so you've got your foot in pretty close to the buttocks and you can reach down and hold your ankle. And then stretch your left arm up overhead so you get into a nice full stretch through the left side of the body there. And you are actually, coming over to the side a little bit. You're curved a little bit in your spine possibly. Depends on how long your arms are, of course, and your torso. But just enjoy opening up through the ribs here on the left side. You can feel the front ribs expanding. Good, and then release that left arm down. We're going to bend the left knee and stretch the right leg down long underneath us. And then start to reach our left hand down to hold the front of your ankle there. And then extend your right arm up long and let yourself just enjoy your breath here, feeling the expansion of the ribs. And then we'll come on back, down with that arm and in with the foot so the feet are both on the floor. And then just lift yourself up into a little bridge pose. You can come all the way back down anytime you want. You may decide you want to lift up and down a little bit and let it feel good just to move a little into the bridge and out of the bridge. You'll feel your quads a little. So feel the feet pressing gently into the floor. Feel your thighs engaging. Good, and then the next time you come back down from bridge pose, let your knees come on into your chest and stretch your arms and legs up in the air a little bit and just kind of do a little foot and hand dance up there. So let your feet and your hands do whatever they want, right? You can play around, do little wiper blades with feet and hands. You can, move back and forth. Just let it feel good. And now think about how you want to rise up to sitting from here. So whether you want to roll up through your spine or roll to your side to come up, totally up to you. And once you're seated, get comfortable. Let yourself sit up nice and tall. Take a second here to enjoy how your back feels. Let your head tilt just a little bit side to side. Maybe roll the head around a little bit too. And then we'll come on back up. Letting our gaze come on forward, letting our hands come out onto the floor beside us. And let's inhale both arms all the way out and up overhead. And let our exhale bring our hands down together in front of our hearts. And then we'll reverse and inhale the hands right up through the midline. And on the exhale, open the arms on back out and down. Let's clasp our hands behind us and let yourself really send the hands down into where they touch the floor. And then come on forward. And imagine your chest is leading you forward here. All right, so you're coming with a nice long back. You know, once you come, if you want to shift a little bit side to side, once you're forward a little bit, you can. Let yourself feel that length of your spine, openness across your chest. And then we'll slowly make our way on back up. And we're going to bring our hands right together in front of our hearts. Allow yourself just to come into your breath here. And then we'll let our arms come on down. And let's come on around towards our hands and knees. So whether you want a blanket anywhere under your hands or under your knees, you know, use that. Or if you don't even want to be in your hands and you want to come to your forearms, go right ahead. Take your time, ease your way. If you need to wiggle around a little bit before you really get into that rhythm of your cat-cows, then do. And then finish off the one you're on so that you can come to more neutral spine. And let's send our right foot behind us on the floor. Keep your toes on the floor curled under. And then kind of get that right hand to a place where your left hand can reach forward and your fingertips are still on the floor. So you've got your right toes down and your left fingertips down. And then when you inhale, you're going to rise that left arm and right leg up a little bit. And when you exhale, you're going to lower it back down. Stay as solid as you can in the core here. Inhaling, rising the arm and the leg up. And exhaling, letting them come back down. And then one more time, rising up, opposite arm and leg. Stay here for a breath. And then bringing the hand back under you and the knee back under you. We're going to send the left foot back. And at first, stretch out through the calf there, through the back of the leg. And then when you're ready, if you need to adjust your left hand to bring that right hand fingertips forward onto the mat, do. And now get ready to use your core to float the arm and leg up. And exhale, float them back down. And then float them back up again. And let them release back down. And then one more time, inhaling that right arm up, left leg up. Reach out through the tips of the fingers here. And then we'll bring the hand back down, the knee back down. We're going to shift back towards pose of a child. And once you get there, walk your hands over to the right. And see if you can, once you get as far as you want to go, see if you can put your left hand on top of your right hand. And see if you can stay there for a couple of breaths. And then come back through center. And we're going to walk over as far as you want to get to the left. So first you get kind of comfortable there. And then see if you can just go a little bit more by putting your right hand on top of your left hand. Good. And then we'll come on back into center again. Take a couple of breaths here in your child's pose, wherever you want your arms to go, right? You can let them be soft overhead, or you can bring them back alongside your legs. Just feel good breathing into the low back. Good, and then let's stretch our arms out long overhead. Come on up to all fours. And let's come on into a down dog. So ease your way into your down dog. And let it feel really good to walk your dog or move around a little bit, however it feels comfortable for you. And if you need to kind of check out your hands, just make sure you feel equal through your hands there. Take your time to let your body really adjust into your downward facing dog pose. Good. And then from here, we're going to go ahead and bring our knees back down. We're going to step our left foot forward, and we're going to come on into a lunge here. So you know, if you like to use your blocks, do. And lifting that back knee up and coming into lunge. Draw your shoulders down. Let yourself enjoy finding your lunge there. And then see if you can. Let's do these little pulses where you inhale, you rise your hips up a little higher, and you exhale, you come back into that full lunge. So you just move a little bit with your breath, but it feels very natural, very easy. Go ahead and come back into that full lunge. Lift your left heel up off the floor just a little bit. Really feel that sense of pressing your feet away from each other like you're trying to lengthen your mat. And then lower the left heel on back down to the ground, and we're going to switch legs. So again, getting mindful of your alignment there. Good. And then coming into these easy little pulses, right? Inhaling, hips rise up. Exhaling, they come back down. But let it feel good, like very natural and easy. And then the next time you come back down, stay there. Lift that right heel up. Let yourself press your feet away from each other like you're trying to make your mat longer. Feel how you get up deeper into the hips there. Feel your thighs. Good. We'll lower that heel on back down. And we'll step forward from here, coming on into standing forward bend. So as you come into Uttanasana, you know, use whatever support you need. So if you need to put your elbows above your knees or put your forearms or your head, you know, if you haven't used a block under your head in a long time in Uttanasana, remember that can feel kind of good. So just be easy. Let yourself release and go to your breath. Feel your face soften. Your throat, let it go through your throat. Your jaw. From here, we're going to let our knees soften and bring our hands to our hips and rise on up to standing, and inhale our arms all the way out and up overhead, and on our exhale let our hands come down together in front of our hearts. So finding your mountain pose, or whatever you need to do to find your mountain pose. If you need to move around a little bit, do adjust your feet, sway around a little bit. So let it feel really good just to allow yourself to start in your feet there and ground equally through your feet, and then feel that lifting up of the thighs, finding space in your knees, adjusting your pelvis there, and then really feeling your hands together there, that connection of your hands, each finger, your thumbs, your palms. And then we'll Release our arms right down beside us. And inhale our arms all the way out and up overhead. And on the exhale, let's bend our knees, come forward from the hips as we fold into standing forward bend. And let your next inhale help you find a nice long flat back. And we're going to step our right foot back and come into lunge. And inhale. Exhale into your downward facing dog pose. Spreading the fingers wide, ease your way. Once you really get pretty comfortable in your dog, let your heels rise up when you inhale and let them lower back down when you exhale. When those heels lower back down, really think about reaching back through your sitting bones equally. Good. And then finish off in your full dog. Let your next inhale bring you out to plank. Nice and strong. Engage your belly. Then we're going to lower down. If you like to put your knees down first, do. Elbows right by the ribs. And let's just lift our head up. Just a little tiny, just a head movement rising up. And of course your chest will rise up. But try not to push into your hands at all. So it is a very tiny little cobra pose. Really tiny. And then lower your head on back down. Turn your head so your left cheek comes towards the floor. So you're turning your head to your right. And let yourself just breathe there and release. Lay the head down on the floor. Let it be, just release your neck. And then we'll come up. We're going to turn the head the other way. So letting yourself come onto that side, right side of your head, and just let the head rest and release. If it doesn't feel comfortable, sometimes you can change the angle a little bit. Your chin can come down or up a little bit. Good. Let's come on back into center. Now this time come up a little higher, and then see if you can slide your forearms onto the floor for Sphinx pose. Bringing yourself now into looking between your hands or a little farther forward. Opening up through the front body. Good, and then from here, let's clasp our hands together, send our pinky fingers out, and bend our knees and come up into a half forearm plank. And now pull yourself towards the front of the mat. Really feel yourself pulling onto up above the flesh, above the knees. You're right above the knees there. Engage your belly as you're pulling gently forward. Good, one more breath. And then lower everything back down, hands back by your chest, and we're going to come back into downward facing dog pose from here. Whether you come through half or full push-up or back to your hands and knees and back to dog. Spread the fingers wide, elbows hug towards each other. Nice. We're going to bring our right foot forward and come into lunge, however you need to do that. And then we'll come back into our Uttanasana, feet hips distance apart and parallel. And again, let yourself go to where you feel really comfortable to be, right? And don't feel like you're fighting yourself in any way. It's very easy to be in your Uttanasana. Very soft through your face. Following those breaths in and out. And then bringing your hands on up to your hips. We'll bend our knees and rise on up to standing. And inhale our arms all the way out and up. And on our exhale, let our hands come down together in front of our hearts. Let's unfold our arms and bring our hands behind us. Clasp them here. Take a nice inhale. And on the exhale, bend your knees and fold forward. Now, it depends on you how far you want to go. If you want to keep going over your legs, do. If you want to stay up parallel to the floor, do. Then let your arms come off your back if you're able to do that. Good. One more breath. And then we'll release our arms on down. And on our next inhale, find a nice long flat back. And we'll step left foot back to come into lunge. And inhale. Exhale into downward facing dog pose. Good. Let's come on out to plank. We're going to do a little side plank work to the left side. So if you want to put your left knee down, you can. If you want to do a full side plank, go into your left arm, you can. That's up to you. And then we'll come on back, down with the right hand, so we can go right on over to the other side. So coming into your side plank on the other side. And then bringing our hands down, coming on back, and from here, press into your toes, come a little forward. We're going to lower down, elbows right by the ribs. And let's come into a little locust pose. Arms down alongside you. Really let yourself lift up here, reaching back through your fingertips and your toes. And then bring your hands on by your chest. Come on down. And from here, excuse me, bend your elbows and flex your feet. Let your head stay down. And feel like you're just pulling your heels in towards your buttocks really strongly. And then lift your head up a little bit. So you've got your head off the floor, your knees are bent, you're squeezing heels in towards the buttocks. Good, and then from there, come on back down with everything. And we're going to make our way back to down dog, whether you come through a full or a half push-up. Reaching equally through your sitting bones. Walk a little bit, wag your tail. Even move your head around a little. Let it be really a loose dog, right? And then we'll bring our left foot forward to come into lunge. And then we'll come on back into standing forward bend. In and out. In fact, for the next couple of 3 breaths, just think in when you breathe in and out when you breathe out. From here, we'll let our hands come on up to our hips, bend our knees, rising up to standing, and inhale our arms all the way out and up. And on our exhale, let our hands come right down together in front of our hearts. Really find your mountain pose here. Let your hands be very lightly touching, but be aware of that connection, and then lift your toes up for a second here in your mountain without looking at them. And see if you can let just your big toes come down to the floor. You're not looking, but they're trying to reach down. The other toes are up. And then let your big toes come back off the floor. So feel the 4 corners of your feet. And now let just your pinky toes reach down towards the floor if you can. Other toes are trying to stay up. And then go ahead and let the pinky toes come back up too. Again, feel those 4 corners of the feet. If you really want to go for the big toes and the pinky toes down, but the other toes staying up, more power to you, and good luck with that. And probably your fingers are doing some odd things too. That's okay. And then let yourself release the toes all back up. Wiggle the toes around a little bit while they're off the floor. And then softly let the toes come back down. Bend your knees a little bit. Press down into your feet. We're going to release our arms down alongside us, and as you press into your feet, rising on up with the arms overhead, and as you exhale, folding forward, coming into standing forward bend. Let your next inhale lengthen your spine, and exhale, right foot back to lunge. And inhale, exhale into down dog. So inhale on out to your plank, and let your exhale lower you down, and inhale into your cobra of choice. And exhale back to down dog. Inhale. Exhale, right foot forward to lunge. And inhale. Exhale, standing forward bend. Bend the knees, rising all the way up to the top. And let your exhale carry you forward. Inhale into that nice long back. Exhale, left foot back to lunge. And inhale. Exhale into down dog. Let your inhale bring you to your plank. And your exhale will lower you down. And inhale into that cobra of choice. Exhaling back to down dog. Inhale. Exhale, left foot forward to lunge. And inhale. Exhale to your standing forward bend. Bend the knees, rising all the way up to the top. And let your exhale bring you forward. Inhale, nice long back. We're going to find down dog. Place your hands. Come into your dog, however you want to get there. Wag your tail around a little bit. Ease your way. Adjust. Move whatever needs to move. Spread those fingers wide. Good. And let's bring our left foot forward. And we're coming up for warrior two. You might want your blocks handy here. Lining up your heels and getting that alignment of that front knee. Take your time to get really comfortable in the alignment of that back foot too. So you feel okay in your ankle, your knee. Good. And then just bring your right arm under your left. Give yourself a little hug or eagle wrap going on here to let the shoulders release. So whatever feels best for you. Letting the hug stay or coming into the wrap. Just letting that breath come into between the shoulder blades on your back. Good, and then we'll unwind and come into those nice long warrior two arms. Let yourself just reach out through the fingertips. Feel your feet in the floor. Imagine you're just trying to make your mat a little longer with your feet so you get a little more engaged up into your hips. Good, and we'll turn that left palm up, bring the right hand to your right leg, and let's inhale as we rise back into that reverse warrior. Good, and on the exhale, we'll come into side angle. Now at first, bring your forearm down to your thigh, look down at the floor. Let your neck release by looking at the floor. See if you can turn your left palm up so that you're pressing down into that left forearm. You're still looking down. You're finding length. And then see about opening that right shoulder up towards the ceiling. So now you're coming into really lengthening out through both sides. And then let that right hand just kind of trail up by your ribs and your shoulder and your ear. And extend that arm up to the place where you feel just really fine to be with your shoulder. So you're pressing still down into that left forearm. You still have length in the underside of the body. Feel your outer left hip drawing back a little bit. Good. Beautiful. One more breath here. And then we're going to come on back into warrior two. Pressing those feet away from each other as we come. Softening the shoulders down, feeling like those arms are growing out of your back. And bringing our hands right down from here, we're going to find lunge. So bringing your hands down, maybe to a block, right? Letting yourself come into your lunge. And let's add a twist. And if you want to work a little bit on your twisted prayer, you can bring your right elbow over to that left knee. And you can even just keep your left hand down on a block if you want. Or you can bring your hands into prayer hands if you choose. So if you want to work without lifting the hands, that's fine. You can draw the elbow over, get that twist going, maybe even turn your head. But if you want to add the hands up, same thing. You can either keep looking down or look to the left. And then we'll come on back down into lunge. And we're going to make our way back into downward facing dog pose. So once you're in dog, walk to the tops of the feet a couple times. And be really mindful. Feel how your feet feel. Let yourself, adjust how you need. And then you can do vinyasas or kriyas. You know that. If you choose not to, you don't have to. You can put your knees down and rest. You can stay in dog. You can move in towards either coming through chaturanga or coming from your plank to your up dog. Good. And then finish the one you're on so we can meet back in down dog. And we're going to bring our right foot forward. We're coming up for warrior two on the other side. So getting those heels in line and getting that back foot the angle you like. Getting that right knee, of course, lined up. And then once you feel pretty good with the base, go ahead and bring your arms out. Left arm under the right. Give yourself a hug. And of course, it's totally optional, adding any kind of eagle or half eagle wrap with your arms. Feel that openness between your shoulder blades on your back. Breathing into that space. Good, and then we're going to unwind our arms and come all the way on out into Warrior Two arms. Just let them unfold there. Let yourself reach out through your fingertips. Feel the feet in the floor, pressing gently away from each other. Really strong into your hips, into your core body. Soft in the tops of the shoulders. And then we'll bring our left hand down and turn our right palm up and go ahead and reach up or behind yourself, however far you want to go in that reverse warrior. Nice full breath into the right side. And on your next exhale, coming on down with that forearm onto your right above your knee. Turning your right palm up, look down at the floor, let yourself just really press into that forearm. Draw your outer right hip back a little bit. And then when you're ready to let yourself open up, and you just let yourself open up with that left shoulder. And there you can trail your hand, left hand by your ribs, your shoulder, by your ear. And again, only you know the exact place where that shoulder feels good, right? So you be where you can be, where you feel that length. Both sides of the body lengthening, drawing the outer right hip back. Feeling the length through the underside of the body as well. Beautiful. One more breath. And we're going to come on back into Warrior Two. Pressing those feet away from each other. Getting right back into that core strength. Remember, arms are going out of your back, so you're very soft in the tops of your shoulders. Good. And then letting your hands come down. We're going to find that lunge. So again, you may want to use your blocks because we're going to add that little twist. If you want to try to work on your twisted prayer, you don't have to. You know that. You can do a twist however you want. If you want to bring your left elbow across and keep your right hand on your block, you can. Or you can bring your hands up into prayer hands, or you can, if you want, leave your left hand down. You be where you can. Good. And then we're going to release and bring ourselves back down. From here, we're coming back into downward facing dog pose. Good. Walk to the tops of the feet a couple of times. Stretch out your feet again. Good. And then come on back to your full dog. Let's come out to plank. And let's do another one of those little side planks to the right. So coming onto your right hand, coming into a little side plank briefly. Let yourself reach up through the left fingertips. Press down into that right hand. And then come on back, and we'll go the other side. So again, once you get that hand in the right place, that left hand, you can press down, you can reach up through the right. Let yourself be strong there. And then we'll come on back down again. And from here, let's lower down all the way down to the mat. Knees first if you'd like. And let's come up into an up dog here. So you can have your toes curled under, or you can, if you want, be flat on the tops of your feet. And then let's release and come back down. And come back into child's pose. Reaching yourself on back. Breathing in your child's pose. Let your elbows bend if possible and put your hands up on your low back. If your shoulders let you do that, that is. And breathe. Good. And then extend your arms on back long again in your child's pose. Let's come on up into down dog. And now see if you can just do three kriyas, where you come out, plank, into up dog once, and then back, and then you do it again twice, and then back, and then you do it again 3 times, just remembering that there's 21 of those in the Tibetan rites of rejuvenation. So if you want to keep going to 21, go right ahead. Or you can go, okay, that's plenty enough for me. And finish off back in your down dog. We won't make it to 21. You can do them later at home. And then when you're ready, bring your left foot forward. We're coming up for Warrior One. You might want your blocks handy. So adjust your stance. Actually, when you get up into being okay about how your legs are, bring your hands behind you. And you can either hold like wrist or go towards your elbows or hand. You know, you can have one hand holding a wrist if you'd rather. So just be mindful. Let your chest feel nice and open, right? Feel your belly. So you know in your Warrior One, Your belly is lifted, but you're not tucking your tailbone forward. Your tailbone is actually reaching back on that diagonal line, but your belly still has to be engaged. Good. Take a couple 3-part breaths. And then let your arms come on down to hang. And let's think about staying really, really strong right here in the core of the body. We're going to release to circle one arm. Right arm is going to come forward and up. If your shoulder lets you, it'll reach back behind you. And then come right on back down. And then we'll go to the other arm. Reaching forward and up, and again, only as far back as your shoulder lets you go. And letting it come down. And then both arms are going to inhale up. And exhale as they come back. And this time, let's inhale forward and up. Clasp your hands, bend your elbows a little bit. Let your elbows reach up. You can even start to look up a little if you choose. And if you want, you can straighten your arms out. Remember, your arms can be forward somewhat. Just take your time. Feel your feet in the floor. Enjoy that beautiful opening for the front of the body in your Warrior One. Feet equal in the floor, arches lifting up. Good. One more breath. And then we're going to release our arms and bring them on down behind us. And take a nice inhale. And when we exhale, we're going to fold forward over the inside of his thigh. Let yourself fold forward. If you want your arms to come off your back, you can. Totally up to you, this humble warrior. And then release your hands all the way down to the floor, and we're going to walk around into a wide-legged forward bend from here. So take your time, walk yourself on around. Go ahead and adjust your feet because you probably feel like you want to go either more or less wide, and start to bend a knee at a time. And you know, if your knees bother you in this, I don't know about you guys, but some days I just go, wow, you know, I can feel it a lot more in my knees some days than others. I just sometimes change the stance a little bit, and definitely just change how deeply I'm bending my knees. Good. And then finish off. Let your hands come on the floor or the blocks in front of you so you have a nice long flat back. So now start to press your feet, whether your knees are bent or straight. Press your feet away from each other like you're trying to make your mat longer. Feel those inner thighs melt their way behind you. It's such a great feeling. It like broadens your sit bones and lets yourself feel that sense of coming fully up into the legs, into your hips. Good. And then from here, let's bring our right hand up to our right hip and roll that shoulder up into a twist. You're welcome to stretch your arm up overhead if you want. And then we'll come on back down with that hand, and we're going to go to the other side. So left hand comes up. Again, you're pressing the feet away from each other as you come into that twist. If you want to add the arm, you can. Good, and then we'll come on back down. And now be easy, be mindful. You want blocks to support your head or your forearms, by all means, use them. If you feel like you'd rather let yourself hold your ankles or walk behind yourself with your hands, just get to where you know you can focus on the breath without feeling any kind of distraction of feeling strain anywhere. All right, so just breathe in and out. One more breath. And now, as you start to rise up, be really mindful because we're going to walk back over to that left foot. So let yourself come up enough to where you can just easily get on over to the left foot to come back to lunge. And then we'll come on back into downward facing dog pose. And again, just do what feels good. If you want to put your knees down and rest, do. If you want to move a little bit more, maybe you're done with doing any vinyasas or kriyas, or maybe you want to practice a little more, come into planks, or maybe you feel just as good to put your knees down. Good. So we'll finish off to meet back in down dog. And this time the right foot comes forward. We're making our way to that warrior one, remember. So be mindful and adjust your stance. If you need to get wider a little bit in your warrior one, more or less long too, you know, getting yourself adjusted so that it feels pretty good when you get up there and feel no sense of stress in that back leg or ankle or hip, right? And again, hold behind yourself for a second, whatever works, whether you hold an arm or you hold your elbows. Let yourself just enjoy a couple of nice 3-part breaths. Feeling the feet in the floor. Good. And then go ahead and let your arms hang. Remember, we're really focusing on that strong core of the body. We're going to let the left arm come up, overhead and behind us for that big circle. Keeping nice and strong as it releases back down. And then we'll go to the right arm, inhaling up and forward. And exhaling as you reach as far back as what those shoulders will let you do. Both arms together. Inhale, rising up. And exhaling as we reach back. And this time we'll inhale, rise them up. Once they get up there, bend your elbows and interlace your fingers, send your pointer finger up. Hug your elbows in a little bit. And then maybe lift the elbows up a bit. You know, you play with this. You can have arms more forward. You can have arms straighter. You can have them bent. Coming into that warrior one, feel that beautiful openness in the front of the left hip. Good. That lift right at the base of your shoulder blades. One more breath. And then release your arms on down. We're going to bring the hands behind us and we're going to bow forward over this front leg. Letting yourself just release here and breathe. The arms can come off your back if you want them to. And then we'll bring the hands on down. And we're going to walk around again into that wide-legged forward bend. Blocks if you need them. Take your time, adjust your stance, get how far you feel like it feels good to you to have your knees apart or your feet apart. And then just keep your hands centered, whether they're on the floor or the blocks, and let your body shift. So you're actually bring your shoulders and your torso to one side and then the other. You can kind of stay there for a breath or two if you want. Let it feel really good. Good. And then, see if you can, whether your hands are on blocks or the floor, walk your hands way, way, way forward like you're doing down dog. But your hands a little bit wider, kind of towards the outside of your shoulders. And let yourself reach back through your tailbone and your sit bones and just enjoy. Feel the heart melting down towards the ground a little bit. Good. And then walk your hands on back. Set yourself up to where you want to be with your breath here. So if you like to use some kind of support, I mean, you can even play with, different things. Block stacked, or maybe all you want to do is bring your hands between your feet. Maybe you want to wiggle around a little bit more. One more breath. walk ourselves back over to that right foot. So coming on back into your lunge and back into downward facing dog pose for your final vinyasas, right? So take your time. You want to move, come through anymore, go for it. If not, do what feels good. Stay in dog if you'd rather. Don't push anything. Good. And then we'll meet back in down dog. And from here, we're going to come forward. So, you know, you can bend your knees deeply and decide if you want to jump or walk yourself up towards your hands or come on into your standing forward bend. Just mindful, easy, head hang. Release the back of the legs, whatever you want to do with your arms. Soft through the face. Across your forehead. Imagine relaxing your throat. Letting go around your eyes. And then bringing your hands on up to your hips. We'll bend our knees and rise on up to standing. And we'll inhale our arms all the way out and up overhead. And on our exhale, let our hands come down. Let our head be light. Very lightheaded, very easy. Grounded through your feet. Feeling very centered. So that when you walk into that doctor's office, you'll be very calm, very easy. And things will just work out just like that. So come on down, shake out just a little bit. And I realized that, thinking of this, that my husband has a 10 o'clock appointment. You might run into him coming out as you go in. So, let's come to the wall and do just a little bit. I mean, Cynthia, you know you go anytime you want. And, Sherman, I don't know how. I know that part is where the water seeps up. It might seep up there too, but I mean, it's not going to hurt your mat, but might get it wet. Okay, yeah, use the pole. So let's come into just a little bit and let this be easy. You can have your blocks forward if you want. Instead of doing we're just going to do like a figure 4. You can have your blocks forward as you have your left hand to the wall. We'll come into here, we'll sit back and, you know, at least stay a bit to think about balancing, even if you don't want to bring your hands. At least let yourself, hands to your heart, at least let yourself stay there to really feel the hip, really feel what's happening in that supporting hip. And if you want to bring your hands to your heart, you can. Right? If not, if it feels really unsteady, keep your hand on the wall. And if after a little bit of that, you feel really good to put your hands down to bring them to the block so you can go a little deeper, flexing through that right foot. Now you can put the right toes on your left arm. You can either put the bottom of your ball of your foot on the arm and press into the arm, or you can hook the toes around your arm and pull back so your toenails are pressing into the arm. Either one of those activates your hip big time. So just enjoy that. Let it just feel good. Good. One more breath. And now all we're going to do is rise up from here, and we're going to cross that right ankle over the left. So your right foot comes to the floor, right? Go ahead and put your left hand on the wall. And now we're going to rise the right outside arm up and lean over towards the wall and come into side stretch. I mean, you could put your hand on the wall. You might even want to put your head on the wall. Depends on how far away from it you are. And let yourself just enjoy that whole big, deep side stretch through the right side. Letting yourself breathe and relax and enjoy. Good. more breath there. And then slowly let yourself come back up. We're going to uncross, and we're just going to turn around. So you might want to bring your blocks with you if you like having them there. And we'll cross that left ankle above the right knee. And bend that knee, sit back a little bit. Again, really coming engaged into the hips here now. And you can obviously really feel both hips, but that supporting hip is really getting strengthened here. If you bring your hands to your heart and you balance, it's a little more. You don't have to. You can keep your hand on the wall. You know that. Good. And then when you're ready, if you can bring your hands on down to the blocks. I mean, you may want to even go to the floor. You don't have to use the blocks. You may want to shift the height of the blocks too. But again, once you bend that right knee and you feel that left foot, if it can contact your right arm, either wrapping your toes around the outside of the arm, pulling your toenails back into the arm, or put it on the inside and press with the ball of your foot into the arm. Either way, that's engaging you in that left hip. Nice. One more breath. And now again, as you start to rise up, we're going to cross that left ankle in front of the right. So again, you're trying to get your foot on the floor, the left foot on the floor. And the toes are facing forward. Start to look forward and bring that left arm out and up overhead. And then just lean towards the wall and let your left hand, maybe fingertips touch. If your head touches, fine. Maybe you just want to let your right arm hang and your head may or may not be on the wall. And feeling this really deep side stretch all the way through the left side waist and really through your hip flexor. And it's a great stretch. Simple enough too. One more breath. And then release to come on back up. We're going to turn to face the wall. Walk into your down dog with your hands at the wall. So trying to get yourself parallel to the floor, that 90-degree angle at your hips, but making sure your feet are right underneath you. And once you feel like, okay, I'm pretty set, glance at your hands. Make sure the hands are even. Find that flat back. Reach back through your tailbone. Good. If you want to come into a little bit of a warrior three, you can. You can get that one supporting foot to the right place so you can lift the other leg up. Not necessary to do that. Beautiful, you two. Good. And when you're ready to switch, you can switch legs. So just feel that incredible stretch through the body in this pose. The incredible length of your spines, both of you. And both of you are totally well aligned. Both in the arms and in your hips. Lovely. One more breath. Nice job. And then when you're ready, let that leg come on down. And come on, turn on around so that we can just come right down onto the floor. And let our feet go back towards the wall behind us. And actually, if you can sit on your heels for a second, if you can, let yourself make that little bowl with the big toes together and the heels apart. If that's too much for you, put a block underneath yourself, right? If this doesn't feel good for you, don't do it. Put a block, sit on a block or two. Everybody knows their own knees, but let yourself just lengthen up through the top of your head.
Are you touching the wall?
No, you don't need to touch the wall. You can if you want. Actually, you can, do that if you want to. To me, that feels really good. A little bit of a back bend, but I'm just trying to let my spine naturally align. Once the tailbone drops down like this, the way it does between, it's got space, it's not on anything, it's like hanging in space. And then it's just like, everything just wants to line right up. Good. And then from here, let's come on forward and let's come all the way down onto our bellies just for a second. And then get close enough to the wall to where you can bend your knees and you can get your feet up just above the baseboard. Right? And then from there, put your head down, straighten those legs out. And your head is down, right? And then see if you can release your arms down alongside you for a locust pose, but your feet are kind of pressing into the wall. Now your chest is up, your head is up, and you're letting yourself come into a little locust, but push into the wall a little bit. Good. One more breath. And now make a pillow with your hands, rest your head, bend your knees, let your legs go side to side so you release for a breath. Good. And then try that again. Bring both feet onto the wall above the baseboard. Straighten your knees out. And now this time, see if you can lift your head up off your hands. And this time, see if you can reach your arms to the front corners of your mat. It's harder. So really use your belly. And if it bothers your back, don't do it. And then we're going to bring our arms down. We're going to bring our feet off the wall. Shift back. Walk yourself back onto your forearms. And it should feel like a huge relief to come up into a dolphin pose now with your heels up the wall, letting your back release, pressing into your forearms, letting your head hang. Just take a couple breaths there. And come down and rest when you need. And you can go back up again anytime you want, or you don't have to rest if you don't want it. If you want to stay up there, if you want to bring one leg up the wall, by all means do, and if not, don't do it. If you want to walk, if you want to change to being on your hands, either if you'd rather be working on handstand prep instead of on your forearms, do. So, when you're ready, we're going to come on around. Before you come down onto your back, though, get your blocks. And let your blocks be forward. We're going to put our feet on the blocks, all right? So let them be the lowest height. And then when you get your feet on here, so that you're thinking about rising up on these in bridge. You're not really sure how close you want your hips yet, but get as close as feels kind of good when your feet are up there on the blocks. I like to have my heels hang off a little bit just because sometimes my feet have slipped on the blocks, but that's up to you. And then just let your arms come out beside you for a second. Let your head roll from side to side. Really release your neck. And then release back to center with your head. Bring your arms down alongside you. Go ahead and turn your palms down. Press into the backs of your arms. Lift your shoulders up and roll them under. And then press into your feet and rise up. And you'll know right away if you need to adjust where your feet were to begin with. So if you're up on these blocks and it feels good to clasp your hands underneath you in bridge, you can. You can let yourself, if you'd rather, bend your elbows. You can keep your arms down long on the floor without clasping. But just be mindful of feeling that openness in the back of your neck and your throat. And again, if you don't feel like you're in the right place, come down, readjust. If you don't want to use the blocks anymore, come down and take them out. If you want to put your hands underneath your low back to lift your hips up a little higher, sometimes that's fun. But just be mindful. Come down when you need to. Bring your knees into your chest if you want to get rid of the blocks and do regular bridge, or if you want to do a full upward facing bow pose, if you want to practice a little bit, bringing your hands above your shoulders and lifting up. Go for it. And then when you do come down, take care of yourself. Bring your knees in towards your chest. Let yourself release easily. Easy little twist maybe would feel good, or maybe a little happy baby pose would feel good. There are lots of things that might feel good to you. Take your time. You know what time it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Be about 5 minutes if you want to stay through it.
Oh, I think we did. Yeah, and it's at 11.
Yeah, I think you probably can. Take 5 minutes to get there.
Yeah, I'll stay. I'll stay all day if you let me.
So just let yourself, let me know if you need some support.
No, I'm just kidding.
You
Not that
no,
kind of
no,
sport. You know.
Let yourself feel the ground and feel the quietness. Enjoy feeling yourself connected there to the ground, and just let yourself soften. Let your breath lead you into those very quiet little spaces. Give yourself time to benefit from all you just did. And allow yourself to completely and fully relax. Just receive your breaths in a little deeper and fuller. Not forcing, just giving the breath time to wake up, really. Giving yourself time to start to feel refreshed by deeper breathing. And of course, when you're ready to move, let your extremities lead you and move the way that feels good for you, whether you need to stretch or bend. And just take your time. You know you can stay there on your back a little longer. You can roll to either your right or your left side if you like staying in that soft fetal position on your side. You can be there for a bit. When you feel good to rise up, let it feel like the next natural thing to do, really. To start to get back up to where your head is above your heart again. And you can feel energy returning as you sit up nice and tall, but still feel nice and relaxed and open. Your hips, your shoulders, your face still be relaxed and soft. And on your next exhale, let your hands come gently together there in front of your chest. And wishing each one of you a very joyful day. Namaste. Happy Friday.